Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match Podcast. I'm your host Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm in a new house actually. I just moved in this week,
Back in
so
the new house.
yes. So first pod in my new place of residence. So
Yeah.
exciting times. It's been really busy. Moving sucks. So I haven't been as active on the timeline, but with Wimbledon coming along, I'll definitely be back to posting pics every morning. So um, last time we podded was I think second week of Roland Garros, but we didn't pod after the Sinner Alcaraz Classic. So I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts and like discuss that match because for me I think for me it was the second best match of all time. It was behind the Federer Nadal Classic, but I feel like it was that high. Like Federer and Nadal is still number one just because of the careers those guys had and what we saw afterwards. I don't know, like if these guys end up having that kind of career and being like big three status at the end of their careers, this could be number one. But right now, I have to put it at number two just because we haven't seen what follows it. Um, and just because of like how much that Wimbledon final kind of meant to the tennis world, like for going forward. So.
Yeah, I'm actually not as big a fan of that match. The Wimbledon 08
Okay.
final. Like, I'm not like
The oh
I
08
think it's
one?
like my personal preference of matches. Like I thought it was, I mean, it was obviously highly dramatic. Obviously, it's like still a top 5, 10 match of all time, but like
Yeah.
it's interesting because it really becomes like personal preference.
Okay, so what matches do you have?
So the Australian Open 2012 final for me is up there, right? That's one that's up there. You had that one ranked third. I think that's a very
Okay.
high one.
Yeah.
Um, the Roland Garros, the 9-7 in the fifth in the Roland Garros semi.
I think
I
that's an
think it's
underrated match. That's a match that's not talked about
because
enough.
it's not a final, right? Just because it's not a final is the reason. But I think that's one of the greatest matches of all time. I think obviously like I've seen replays of it, but not the actual match. It also depends like what you're evaluating, right? Like this is probably the greatest comeback of all time in my eyes, the Alcaraz Sinner. To come back from love 40 on a clay court, right? Where like love 40 on a clay court is a problem.
It is. Plus, that was a those were match points on Alcaraz's serve. He had to break back
And
to,
he had to break, and he was down a break in the third set.
and then he had to win a tiebreak in which he was down in the fourth set tiebreak, right? So there were
Yeah.
like the comeback was just insane because like you have to save match points on your serve, break, and then win a tiebreak.
And he was down a break in the third set.
Right, on top of it. That's true. That's true.
Oh, albeit briefly, 1-0. It wasn't like, oh, the match is over, but
Right.
yeah, I thought in terms of like that, like, yeah, I thought that was like the greatest tiebreak. I think for me, like the greatest mental effort of all time is still the Borg McEnroe. And granted, I didn't see it live, but I've seen replays. And for Borg to win a fifth set, an extended fifth set after losing the tiebreak the way he did, I think is probably maybe the most incredible
Mhm.
mental effort of all time.
I did not
Um,
include that in my power rankings, to be fair, just because like I haven't seen it in person. Like it was before I was born.
yeah, like I said, I've seen replays of it,
And
like on
like I want
ESPN,
to
ESPN
respect those
Classics had
guys,
it.
and like it's impossible to compare eras. So like that match probably deserves to be in there, but like just I
I feel
could.
like for something like this, you kind of can a little bit compare eras more so than like you can for a like who is the greatest player.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Um, I think the one match where Djokovic just completely wiped Nadal and played like one of the best match I've ever seen, like out of one guy, I think is like for me is an underrated match. I get that for like a greatest match of all time, you probably want the other guy to fight back a little more, but like
Mhm.
I thought just that's like that's why it's almost like
Which
you have to categorize it,
which one are
like
you
there's a
thinking
lot
of?
of
The 19 Australian Open final? That one?
Yeah, the one where Djokovic won like 3-2 and 2 or whatever. Whenever he like just destroyed
Yeah, but
Nadal.
I thought that that was a poor Nadal. Like I agree, Djokovic played amazing, but I also feel like Nadal wasn't battle tested. I think he didn't drop a set up to that final. He was coming back from injury. Like that wasn't peak Nadal. Like if he did that against a peak Nadal,
Not Pete Nadal, but it was. I mean, I didn't think Nadal. I don't think Nadal played bad in that match. I think that was just like a
I think
one of the
separating like best matches of all time versus like best performances of all time
fair,
is different.
fair. And then like you brought up the Roland Garros final. I agree with that. Um,
Which one?
the when Wawrinka beat Djokovic.
Yeah.
That is, and that was actually a very competitive match.
But I thought that was
Um,
one of the best performances of all time. And like I thought it might not be the best match of all time just because it was a fourth round, but that fourth round between Djokovic and Wawrinka at Australia in 2013, which went to 12-10 in the fifth, I thought that that was one of the highest quality matches of all time, like from start to finish.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was obviously an incredible match. I find like Wawrinka's a hard player to evaluate because he was like so I don't know, so like blasting dependent, you know?
Mhm.
Um so like though you didn't have like the all-time rallies that you did in some of these other matches, you know, like I think like the Nadal Djokovic rally at the what was it, the 2011 or 2012, what was the US Open final? I think that's one of the great matches of all time, the four-setter
The
when Nadal beat
13
Djokovic.
one?
I think maybe 13, somewhere in the early 2010s. I get the years confused.
Yeah.
But that to me is one of the great matches of all time, just because like I thought the play in that match was out at like was otherworldly. Like he was just like, like again, it was similar to the 2012 Australian Open final, but for me that slides in as a top 10. Um Trying to think. The Nadal Verdasco match at the Australian Open in what was it, 04 or
Incredible.
05.
That's a very
Um
There are a few underrated matches that kind of go unnoticed.
I,
Like
I don't
I feel
but I
like the
feel like that's more because like um it's such a star-based sport, and tennis has only done a good job of marketing like a couple stars in the era. So like if it's not two of those guys, it's like nobody cares. It's a very like, we talked about this
true.
before. It's like, and like it's a shame because like there's top 10 guys that can produce like great tennis against these guys, and
Hmm.
it's just it's like largely unnoticed because it's not like
Like I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if you remember, it was a Roland Garros match, and I think 2019 it was Tsitsipas and Wawrinka on Longland. It was a fourth round match, and it went to like I think it was 9-7 in the fifth or something. And it was back when Tsitsipas was actually good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a match that never gets talked about, but I mean, it's got to be for me like one of the top 10 Roland Garros matches that I've seen,
Yeah.
you know? So I feel like there's in this conversation, there's so many matches that just go unnoticed or like not talked about. Like even the '09 Australian Open final with Nadal and Federer. You remember that one? Like I thought that that was probably the best quality match they played from start to finish. Maybe not like storyline wise, but actually, if you ask them, I think that they actually think that that was a very underrated final that they
Yeah.
played.
There's also there's the Djokovic Wawrinka battles at the Australian Open, right? There's at least one of them.
Well, the
There's one that
13 one was better, right? The 14 one was what the one where Wawrinka beat him, but that also went five sets.
yeah, yep, of the
And
Australian. So there's
that's a
that one.
match
Like,
that doesn't
and that
really
was like a
talk
fourth
about.
rounder, right? That was like a fourth round match,
Quarterfinal. It's quarterfinal.
quarterfinal. Yeah, but so there's that. There's I mean it's from the '90s, but there's the Sampras Agassi, the four sets where nobody broke at the U.S. Open. That's another great
Yep.
match of all
Yep.
time. Um,
And that
so
was
yeah, I mean I find it really hard to rank these matches up against one another. It really I think comes down to like what you prefer, what you like more. For
yeah.
me, if I had to pick one, it's probably the 2012 Australian Open final. But I think that's like my preference for like it's just my preference for like the type of tennis that I like to watch. You know what I mean? I think it's a But yeah, it's
Yeah, for me, I
it's
can't really put that there because I actually felt like Djokovic dominated that match for a big part of it. And I thought it was an incredible show of grit and determination for Nadal to even squeak out that fourth set. I thought that that was one of the most, the biggest like dig deep moments of Nadal's career.
fair, fair.
And then to be up a break in the fifth, but it wasn't necessarily good play that gave Djokovic the win at the end. It was more that missed backhand at 4-2, that Nadal had to go up 5-2. There
True.
was
I
some
guess. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about the French Open, the 2013 French Open, right? Where like
the
the
net.
the net touch, right? You could say the same thing about this match, the Sinner match. Sinner, I mean, Sinner easily. I mean, not easily, but like the two of the match points Sinner just blew, right? The missed
I would say
backhand on the
so.
return and the forehand were kind of chokes. So yeah, it's really hard to say. I think that's why people tend to revert to the '08 Wimbledon final so much, because that probably. But even that one, that one even like ended on a what, like a missed forehand. So
Yeah, it did, but the match points were saved in such amazing fashion, right? And like that's the big thing about that match. Like the passing shot to get match point in the fourth set tiebreak,
honestly,
followed by the
like
backhand pass.
I think that backhand pass is one of the more overrated shots of all time. To be honest, like it was a good shot, but like I don't feel like it was an all time great shot as much as it's like beloved because yeah. Like I feel like it was a very good pass. But I don't think it was like I wasn't like, oh my
I
god,
don't
this is
agree with
awesome.
you because I think it's a pattern of play at that stage in career that Nadal was winning 90% of those points, like that were played that way. Like if Nadal wanted to play that point again, that's exactly how he would play that point at that particular moment. And for Federer to come up with the goods in that moment, I thought was incredible. And then it's not only the tennis, it's the rain delays and the comeback that wasn't, like for completed by Federer, right? And then like the changing of the guard, like it had so many like storylines, you know, to it.
Right, right. That's why I'm saying it really is a personal preference thing. You know what I mean? It really is like it really is like a what do you like the best?
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, like 2013 French obviously was amazing, but like the third set was lopsided, right? So when there's a lopsided set, I can't really put it in the list, you know? For me it has to be competitive from start to finish.
Okay,
And that's
that's
something that
fair.
this Alcaraz Sinner match was. Like there were no lopsided sets,
Yeah,
you
that's fair.
know? And like the fact that Sinner came back in the fifth, being down a break, and broke back to force 5-all, like that also added something to it. I also think that the no bathroom breaks, the no medical timeouts, like that kind of stuff, I don't know, matters in these kind of discussions, you know?
I don't know that I care so much about the bathroom breaks and the medical timeouts personally. Like, but again, it's personal preference. Like I can understand that. I mean, like this is all like personal
Yeah.
preference type stuff. I think it's very, yeah,
Okay.
it's
So you put the Sinner Alcaraz in like where? Like behind the 2012 Australian
behind the
Open?
2012 Australian Open final for sure. I
Okay.
also love that 13 U.S. Open final between Djokovic and Nadal. Like
You know that
those are
was
probably my two favorite guys. What?
that was four sets.
The four sets, yeah. Despite it not being like as dramatic with a fifth set, like I just thought like the tennis and the rallies. There was like there was the one insane rally. I can't remember how many balls it was, but it's like 100
54
something.
balls, yeah.
What?
54 shots.
And like insane shots, and that was 54 balls each way, like of insane shots. So like there's that. Like there's a lot of yeah. Oh, there was also a Djokovic Zverev match I remember a few years back. I think it at the U.S. Open. That was a five setter that was actually really good. Zverev actually did show up that day and just didn't quite get it done the fifth. Um, but there's a lot of great matches to talk about, man, in tennis. Like there's a
There
lot of
are.
great matches,
There are.
And that's without even getting into like some of the really good early round matches that the only reason they don't get included is because of them not having any like top guy, which tends to bring down the ranking. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, I
it's
actually like talking about the top non-slam matches because I actually think that some of those were even better than the slam matches. Like the uh the Federer Curios in Miami. I don't know if you remember that one in
a little bit.
2017. Um, there was the Alcaraz Djokovic in 23 in
The
Cincinnati. That
Cincinnati
was
match was really good.
incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was
If you
it's
go back to the 2000s and early 2010s, you had like the Ferrer Nadal match, I think in Madrid and Rome.
yep,
You had Corey and Nadal in the mid
yep.
2000s. Um,
You had
so
the
yeah,
'09 Nadal Djokovic in Madrid. I don't know if you watched the replay of
yep.
that match with the 11-9 in the tiebreak. I mean, it was some of those matches were, I mean, arguably better than the slam matches. You can
Yeah,
make the case.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
And they go kind of in these kind of discussions, they got kind of pushed under the rug because they weren't best of five sets.
I also think because like it's a slam sport.
Right.
Like rightfully or wrongfully, like again, like it's one of the things that's a shame with tennis is that like there's a whole calendar and like unfortunately tennis only chooses to market like 5 matches a year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame. It's true. It's true. But we say it all the time. I mean, that's why we follow the sports, down to the 250 level.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
actually enjoy it just as much. Like I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
This week has been great.
Well, I think other, like that's the challenge, right? Is like the biggest issue is that honestly, like those two guys have separated themselves so far.
Yeah.
Like you saw guys who are like arguably top five play quarters, like Musetti, no chance to realistically beat Carlos in a best of five. No realistic shot. Djokovic, okay, like was competitive for 3 sets against Sinner, but never really thought he was ever going to win the match.
No.
So like it's like one of those guys, like those guys. Maybe Alcaraz on hard is a little different because he still seems to struggle a little bit on hard, but like outside of that, like these two guys, like they just separated themselves significantly versus the field.
Yeah, and I just talking about the Sinner Alcaraz match, like I actually thought Sinner was the better player for like 70% of it, to be honest. Like I thought Alcaraz was obviously better in the key moments and played a way better fifth set tiebreak, but like for the majority of the match, I felt like Sinner was kind of dictating proceedings.
Yeah, I mean Sinner kind of choked it at 5-3, right? Like I think we would agree on that.
Yeah.
Um, and then the fifth set tiebreak, I didn't think Sinner played that bad of a tiebreak. Like it
No.
wasn't great. It was very like it was a very decent tiebreak. And given that I think a lot of that too, like Sinner, in my mind, actually Sinner did look a little fatigued by the fifth set. Like I thought there was
A little bit.
a gap in fatigue. Like there still is a physicality gap there, and I think that's what
Yes.
ultimately showed in this fifth set tiebreak.
True.
Not that I can take Sinner to task too much. I don't think too many guys are getting through 5 hours with Alcaraz, like without it being a whole lot worse than what Sinner was. So like,
Yeah, so
you
he's definitely
know,
made strides in that area.
right, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give Sinner credit for coming back and again forcing that tiebreak and hanging in there for the fifth set. He could have gone away and he didn't. So
Because
I
there
thought
was
it
a
was
he ran for a drop shot and he kind of pulled up at one point and I thought he was like cramping and I thought that it was over then and like he
there.
kind
I
of
mean,
pulled up.
Alcaraz started to really use that drop shot in the fifth, and I did feel like Sinner slowed down a little bit. Not just the 1 point, but I felt like in general, like you could see that Sinner was like I thought the fifth set was there was a little fatigue there. And again, I'm not gonna take. I mean, look, it wasn't like
Yeah,
Musetti. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like Carlos destroys most of these guys physically by the time they get to the third set. So like, yeah, I'm not gonna take Sinner to town too much for it, but I did think it was a noticeable factor.
right, right. Yeah, it's not like he threw in the t towel like Mahak.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not really deserving of being bashed here, but yeah, Alcaraz is the fitter guy. There's just no question about it. There's no question about it. And that's probably the difference, right?
In these
When
best
you
of
get that,
fives, yeah. I mean, because Sinner seems to be fine, seems to be very able to get in position, and Alcaraz. I think it's also Alcaraz is just like he's better in the key moments too.
yeah, he just has that little bit of, I mean, his ceiling is higher, right? We talk about it all the time, right?
A,
Like,
his ceiling is higher,
center,
but B, he's a little bit better mentally at like staying like composed and like
well, center is more steady, right? Like, center has like this like base
yeah.
level, right? And then he can find that slightly next gear, right? But he stays kind of very similar. Whereas Alcaraz is more like this, but his highs are higher.
But he
You don't
seems to be
like
able to
that?
find maybe not a peak, but he seems to be able to usually find a strong level in tie breaks.
Yeah, he plays better when the chips are kind of down, right? Like when it matters most. And
Yeah.
he's done that. I mean, his fifth set record is ridiculous. I think it's like 12-1 at this point.
And the one was early on.
It was a
It was Berrettini or
Berrettini,
something, right?
yeah, Australian Open right when he was 18, and that was still 7-6 in the fifth. It's not like he
Yeah.
went away. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, you don't want to get to five sets with Alcaraz.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I felt like once Sinner lost those three match points, he was in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
And two of them, like the first one, the love 40 was just too good. But two of them, the 15-40 and the 30-40
So the
were
second was a missed forehand return, right?
no backhand, right? But the forehand or
Backhand
backhand
return.
return.
Okay, that was a bad one.
Second,
I thought the third one wasn't terrible.
I mean, he wasn't going to be a winner, right? Like Alcaraz was going to get to it, but like
Yeah,
you should make that ball.
you should. And it was a second serve, I think.
What was a? It was a return, right? It was a return. Sinner got the return back in play. I think it was a. He actually got Alcaraz on the move. He had Alcaraz running out wide to his
Yeah.
forehand, and Alcaraz hit a ball back to the middle of the court, and Sinner just like under hit the forehand into the net.
But I think the third one wasn't too bad because Alcaraz actually hit a really good defensive forehand and kind of pushed Sinner deep, and Sinner just missed it in the net and it hit the tape. Like, I
It
don't think the
wasn't
third
bad.
one was terrible.
Yeah, I think I would agree. It wasn't terrible. I would
The
say like it
second
wasn't.
one was bad. You have to make that ball.
I would say it wasn't terrible the third one, but he should make that ball. He makes that ball the vast majority of the time. I'm not saying he rips it for a winner, but Sinner gets that ball 80,
Yeah.
85% of the time. Sinner gets that ball back in the court deep and continues the point.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
mean, 90% of the guys they lose the fifth 6-1. Let's let's
yeah.
let's be real.
Right, exactly. And that is kind of the point, right? Is that like it was just an absurd match, an absurd overall level, like amazing job to both
Yeah.
guys. So
Yeah. And I think Sinner is made of the stuff where he's not really gonna let that affect him. Like, I still think going into the hard court swing, he's gonna mop up. Like,
oh yeah, Sinner, yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
reason for me to believe that he's not, because
Yeah.
his base level is just so much higher than everyone else's. And like, that's his worst surface, and Alcaraz is arguably best surface, and it got to 7-6 in the fifth. So I
Yeah.
think, to me, that shows me that he's still the best player in the
Oh,
world.
if you're asking me who's the number one player, it's by far Sinner.
I
Like
would,
I would say, maybe not by far, but he's a overall. He's got it. There's a definite gap.
yeah, and I thought as I said, I thought he outplayed Alcaraz for maybe 65-70% of that match, and that's his worst surface.
Yep. Yep.
That's scary for the rest of the field.
Yeah.
Scary, scary. So, and like, I saw the Wimbledon odds, and him and Alcaraz are the same. I think at plus 170 is what I saw last. I'm probably gonna hit Sinner, honestly, at that price.
It's ridiculous, but it feels like you hit both, to be honest.
Just hit both.
It feels like it. Like, are you, like it's just like it's absurd, but like like who's beating either of those? I mean, like I guess grass gives, I will say grass gives more guys a shot, right? That's the thing. Like grass gives more guys a shot because you could just like serve amazing.
Yes, but these guys are also really hard to ace. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
not
agree.
easy. And the grass
I
has gotten
agree.
slower. And then also the grass slows down as the tournament progresses. If they were playing
Yeah.
one of the big servers in the early rounds when it's like more slippery, I would give them a better chance. But if they're playing them in the semis or finals, forget it. You know?
I'm not gonna say forget it, but I hear you. I
Yeah.
mean, Medvedev beat Sinner, right? Last year?
Yeah, but that's because he was sick,
Fine.
right? And still won 5 sets. It's not
Yeah.
like so. I think Draper is the one guy that kind of is trending in the right direction to crack that or to join them in that conversation. He's not there yet. You can't be losing to Bublik, you know. But I think he's the one guy that's trending in the right direction. That's what I'll say.
I mean, if I had to pick one guy outside of those two, I would still say Zverev.
Really? Wow. So you think Zverev is closer than Draper to those
Yeah,
two
I do.
guys?
I think he still is. Yeah.
Oh, I disagree with that. I'm really low on Zverev. I think he's regressed, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's had a bad last couple months, but I think it's like I think it's I don't know. I think it's overstaying it says regress. I mean, he still made what the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but that was a pathetic match, like against Djokovic, tactically. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? But like I don't know. At least I feel like yeah. I mean, like that's the like the problem is like I have no faith in like I have no faith in Zverev beating a top guy in a big match because I feel like he gets so in his head. Because it's not he's like this terrible tactical player, Zverev. It just seems like in like big moments he just they're not like it's just this slam thing. There's just he knows that monkey's on his back.
yeah, the scar tissue is really like getting worse, right? It's like
Yeah.
a big cut and it's like getting deeper.
And he's the one guy where it really feels that way to me. Like in the entire sport where it feels like there's stark scar tissue that like really matters. I feel like it's Zverev and the slams. I feel like that's the one where like because we've now seen it feels like the past 4 or 5 matches where he's ended up in a big match in a slam. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Like the and not necessarily like he like it's not that he like hits terrible. It's like the other stuff you need to do to win. Like I'm even thinking back to like the I don't know, like yeah, he made the Australian Open final, but he just got completely outplayed by Sinner.
Hmm.
Um, and he had chances there, and when he had chances, didn't take advantage. Um, the loss to Fritz in the U.S. Open match was terrible. Just like
Yeah.
just couldn't
Really
play
bad.
tennis. Like it's yeah, it just feels like when he gets in these big matches, he just
Yeah, and against Djokovic, he had no like he didn't defend the drop shot at all. Like he didn't do anything to counter it. He didn't do, like he just felt like just making it physical and defending from the back of the court was like the only way to win.
which he's fast enough, Zverev. Like it's not a speed issue, and he's cleaned up his net game a lot. So like the tools are there. It's just feels like he kind of just lost his head.
There was no nuance in his game. It was very basic, right? It was just like what he's done his entire career that hasn't worked, right? Just play defensive balls from the baseline and like
But like there are
Novak has changed
times,
that a
there are
lot.
times he plays aggressively.
Yeah,
Like
but
there
when
are
at a 250 in Stuttgart, right? That's when he plays aggressively. In a quarters of a slam against the best player of all time, that's when he's gonna freeze.
right. So I
Right.
I so I hear like why I like that. That's why the debate's interesting, right? Because I think Zverev is like ahead in terms of like he's got like Zverev has all the physical tools. He's got a great serve, fantastic backhand. Forehand's not amazing, but I don't think that's like what's holding him back is his head.
But I think his feel, like his lack of feel in the forecourt and his lack of hands, and
Oh,
I
I think
think
his hands have gotten a lot better. I don't think
he's
his hands are
gotten
really.
better, but it's still not to the point where it's good enough to win a slam. Like I think he doesn't have enough elements to go to win a point, you know?
Okay, I guess we'll disagree there.
Okay.
I don't. I feel like yeah. If you want to rate him, like I'm sure he's behind the other guys, but like I don't think it's that bad. That it's not like a Rublev thing where it's like, oh my God, he can't win a point in the forecourt, and like it's really a problem.
Yeah. It's
I
not
mean,
as
I
bad
like
as Rublev, but it's still bad against like the top guys that gets exposed.
I don't know. Like I feel like I feel like it's really hard to separate how much of it is the head because like when he like a lot of it's like just like not. I feel like he's like to your point, like he's too far back. He pushes himself too far back, and then like all these things become difficult.
But he doesn't adjust to what's coming, right? Like
Right, because
Joker
he's too afraid
started
in
playing
these
drop
big
shots.
matches, or he's too afraid. It's not even big matches. It's just like when he's not playing well, he gets in his own head. But like again, like there's matches he'll play great at a
Mhm.
250, and he'll be having and it'll be going well. It'll be a good day. He'll be aggressive, coming forward, hitting good volleys. Like it doesn't to me feel like a skill thing. It's like a belief.
That's fair. I also think another problem with him is like the lack of accountability that he takes that or that he doesn't take. Like whenever reporters question him, he gets defensive. And like I think it's this spoiled brat, image that he has, and I actually think it's bad. Like it's a reason why he doesn't get over the hump because he doesn't take accountability for what he's not doing right in those big moments. And he thinks like, oh, it's just gonna happen for me. And it just
I don't know. I it's a shame because I agree with you. He like his the press conferences are always terrible from him post these big matches. So I agree with you on that. Is it actually what's preventing him from winning anything? I don't think
because
so.
if you think that you're doing everything right, you're not improving to get to the next level. And like he's improved his
But I
game.
don't think that's true, right? Like I think because we've seen him improve, I think we can say that he realizes that there's things that need to improve. He's just not going to admit them in the press conferences, which
Okay, I've seen less of that improvement this year than last year, for example. And last year he was much closer to winning a slam than this year. Like I feel like he was getting into the right direction, getting up 2 sets to 1 against Alcaraz, and then like that kind of discouraged him, and now he's kind of fallen off. And now he's actually further from winning a slam because the other guys are getting better. And Draper's coming along. And I actually think Draper has surpassed him because I think he's better in the forecourt. I think he takes more accountability for his mishaps. I think he's improved his physicality. Um, I would put Draper at number 3 right now.
all right. I mean, I think it all depends on like it's really tough because like and I think we would both reach. I mean, maybe you don't, but I think just in terms of physical skill level, I think Zverev is still far and away even above Draper. But it's just how much is this head a problem?
Okay, I think fitness wise, Zverev is better, but I think physical or tennis skills, I think Draper is slightly better. That's
Wow,
what I would say.
even regardless, so even in like a 250 and like even in like Queens or something, you would take. I mean, that's grass where Draper's probably better. But even on like a hardcore, let's say like in like a at like a Cincinnati, you would take Draper over Zverev in like a U.S. Open or not
If
the
they
U.S.
were
Open, like
if
a
they were picked,
Cincinnati.
I'd probably take Draper this moment.
Okay,
Like if it was -110, -110 on a neutral hard court between Draper and Zverev, I'd probably take Draper.
okay,
You take Zverev?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Popcorn tennis. Popcorn tennis.
I mean, it depends on form and such, right? Like I'm not like obviously
Yeah.
like it's not like a betting take, and it's not like because like obviously it would be like it would depend on like what happened between now and then, obviously, but like yeah, Yeah, I mean,
I'm
but
gonna post I'm gonna post a poll on the timeline.
in a slam, it's so different. Like I don't know, but like that's the problem. Would I actually take Zverev over Draper in like a slam semi or a slam quarter? Man, I don't know. Just because like Zverev's gonna choke, like,
Be
or
fascinating. That
you
would be a
like
fascinating match.
you can you already have like the 80-85% feel that like Zverev is just not like his A game's not gonna be there.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna post it on timeline. Neutral hard court, Draper versus Zverev at a best 2 out of 3 sets. Who wins?
okay,
-110 both ways.
all right,
I think it's a fascinating question. I'm very curious to see what people are gonna say. I think,
yeah,
but so I think that does it for clay court season. Until after Wimbledon, there are a
yeah,
few events, Kitchbull and um,
the stud and whatnot.
yeah. But what are your takeaways from the grass? In Stuttgart and Den Bosch.
I think it's hard to have too much of takeaways from Stuttgart. Like it's so fast, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's fun to watch for like an hour, and then you realize it's all just tie breaks. And it's like it's like hard for me to like, it's almost hard for me to like separate these guys. Like I didn't see Zverev Shelton today, but like, like Zverev was statistically pretty dominant, but like it still got to two tie breaks just because it's so hard to win points on return.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there altitude in Stuttgart? Is that the
yes.
reason why it's so fast, combined with like quick grass?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean,
Unless you pull a year of the Heshkin and just break yourself with four double faults. That is the one way you can get broken. That might be the most pathetic thing of all time I've ever seen. Like that, like that actually no, that's not. The most pathetic thing I've seen is Medvedev double faulting three times in a tiebreak against
Opelka,
Opelka. Like that's just
that
terrible.
was
I mean,
bad.
like it's just terrible, and it's so depressing
It
to
is.
see Medvedev, who like we used to talk about him 2 years ago. Was like this great tactical player. Like, where are the tactics?
I know.
Like, I mean, he could like underarm serve, dink serve.
Yeah.
Like it's like fast grass, low grass, super tall guy in Opelka. Medvedev's whole goal in that match is to get into rallies.
I mean, Sisu Bergs did it, and he dominated today, right?
But
Like,
like just yeah, but like it's just like to just like hand away points in a tiebreak. It's just inexcusable.
100%. I mean, that was that was really bad.
Like I think it's actually worse than the four double faults from Lehecka.
Both are so equally bad.
Yeah, it is really both are really really bad. But
I mean,
like
Lechka destroyed a what 50 to 1 parlay for me
yeah,
because of his disgraceful performance, and like he was equal to Shelton, right? It was just those two freaking 5-4 games where he just like didn't want to compete
because the
anymore.
4-5 the other first set game was terrible too. Like Shelton was all excited that he broke, but it was like a double fault. It was another double fault, and like the first point Shelton did hit a good forehand and it skidded in the grass and Lehechka mishit a ball, but the other 3 points were like a double fault and two missed first balls.
And
Like,
the set point was just like a botched forehand, like in the middle of the court. Like
yeah,
there was nothing on that Shelton ball, and he just flew the forehand long. And it was like
yeah.
3 feet long. It's not ah so bad. I mean, Lechka might be one of the more mentally weak guys on the tour. Like
It's
he's
so
really making a
frustrating, man. It's so
reputation
because
for himself.
he's so good. When he has it, he's so good. And
Yeah,
this is like again an example too, we can talk about mental weakness because it's also there's no plan B. So it's like mental toughness
yeah.
and like mental toughness. Like he doesn't perform particularly well in close situation in like tough in like match situations, and he's got his when it's not going well, it just gets terrible. Like he
Right.
gets all frazzled. Either there's no plan B or the plan B is terrible. The plan B is just like throwing up drop shots, like 3, 4 balls in a rally, just bailouts. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and like they don't he doesn't realize that like, okay, maybe I can play with some more loop on the ball, right? Like get the ball up high, right? Maybe hit some more angles, maybe not just try to go through someone, right? Like there are other ways of playing.
I think that might just be more that he doesn't have those tools. I don't know that I've ever really seen him have those tools in the bag. You know, even when he's playing well, that he's had like the angles and the loop and stuff in the bag. Like, I think like, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's. I feel for these guys. Anybody ranked outside the top 20, because like, how do you improve? When do you improve? Like, there's no time to like take off to
I mean,
like.
I don't necessarily agree with that. Like if I lose a first set badly, like those are things I'm thinking about. Like at a what like a 4-0 US.
No, but if you don't, if you're that much worse at it, like it's not like Laheka has like these great drop shots, you know, or is it
Saying
like
playing drop shots. I'm saying would play with a little more loop because like if
no,
you
but when he plays more loop, he's not. It's like it's not good. Like you know, like it's like it's. I think it's. I hear you. I think it's a difficult choice. Like he's like then he has to play a worse. Like he has to play as a worse version, and I just don't think it's like part of the issue is like a lot of these guys like need to gain some variety.
yeah.
Like that's why they don't make the top 10, you know? I mean, it kind of is a separator, to be honest. If you look at it like, you know,
Because when you play with more like spin and more loop, you generate margin, right? But then also sometimes it's harder to generate pace off those balls, right? Which gives you a shorter ball sometimes,
oh, I'm not
right?
saying there's not validity to the strategy. I'm just saying like some of these guys just don't hit a good like they don't have like multiple, you
Like,
know, they don't have like different levels of spin. It's almost like they don't know how like to
yeah.
hit like a heavy like a heavier top spin ball, but like that's what separates a lot of these guys. You know, like
Right,
if I
right,
look at the top, so the top 10 in the rankings right now are Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Draper, Djokovic, Musetti, Fritz, Paul, Rune, and Demoner. Like all 10 of those guys can play with some variety.
yeah.
And I'm not even just saying like they all have pretty complete games.
Well,
Probably the
that
closest to not would actually be Fritz. And he's just like such a good ball striker. And you see it on
yeah.
clay. It's part of the reason why he has such a hard time.
But he's also trending out of the top 10. I mean, not with this Stuttgart run, but in general, from what we've seen this
I
season.
don't know. I mean, we've talked about this in the past. I just like he's just not a good player outside of America, and
Yeah.
part of what we just talked about, like his game is so like
Right.
he's and look, give Fritz credit. Like I love Fritz. Like give him a ton of
Yeah,
credit.
I give him credit. But
But
that's what
like
makes Zeddy so successful during this clay court swing is the amount of nuance he has in his game,
right.
right?
And
Um,
if you look at the guys like 11 to 20, right? So the guys 11 to 20 are Medvedev, Shelton, TFO, Feast, Rublev, Rude, Mensik, Dolo, Dimitrov, and Humbert. Like that's where you start to see some more of these guys who are a little less nuanced.
right, right,
And
right.
then like 21 to 30s, Popper and Makach, Korda, Kachanov, Kaboli, Tsitsipas, Fokina, Berrettini, FAA, Shapo. Now you really start to see the nuance go
Yeah,
away.
it's true.
So it's kind of interesting how like, you know, and it's probably something that's like I think it's not talked about like enough. Like to make the top 50, like you're gonna be able to hit the ball.
Yeah.
It's like but it really is like it's how many clubs are in your bag, and then what do you have mentally? Like even a guy like Fritz, maybe who doesn't have a whole lot of clubs in his bag, he's a very good tactical player with what he does. Like he doesn't have a
He's
whole
an
lot to go,
incredible competitor too. Like
and he's
he
an
doesn't
incredible
give in,
competitor. Yeah.
right? He never
So
gives
he's
in.
yeah, so he's missing. Okay, so maybe he's missing like, and he's relatively okay. I think in like he's not like a guy who like fades away in every clutch moment either.
Yeah, not really. I mean, we like this lack of nuance. Like it's Rublev in a nutshell, right? Like that's why he's filtered out of the top 10 and closer to the top 20, right?
Yeah,
Because of that lack of nuance and like the lack of ability to adjust and just bashing doesn't get you anywhere anymore. Like the game has evolved, you know?
It does feel that way. I'll give you that. I feel like the level of hitting in the past 5 years seems to be higher. I don't know if it's the rackets or the strings, what it is, but I feel like the level of ball striking is has the last like 3 years is absolutely incredible. Like you look at these guys, like we just talked about a guy, Lehecka, right? Mensick, um,
Yeah.
Feast.
Yeah.
Like these guys are incredible ball strikers.
And that's why that's actually a reason why Sissipas has fallen so far down because like he's not a good ball striker, I feel.
I think he is off the forehand, but the
Off the
backhand's a
forehand.
mess.
Yeah. Like you have to be able to do it off both wings at a top 30 level. Otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah, it's amazing that Tsitsipas has fallen all the way to 26th in the rankings.
Crazy.
Like he's just tanking.
But honestly, that's where he belongs.
I would agree
Like
on anything except like a slow play court. Like I still think like a Monte Carlo or like a Barcelona. Like he's
really proved too much on clay this year. And
uh what did he do on clay this year? I thought he did okay.
who did he lose to at Roland Garros? Oh, Feast. No. He lost to Feast in Rome.
No, let's think Gigante and Roland Garros. That's
Oh yeah,
terrible.
that's terrible.
But like,
Gigante.
yeah, he retired against Feast and he lost to Musetti in 3 sets in Monte Carlo. That's not terrible. Gigante's terrible. Retirement's a retirement, and um,
Yeah.
losing to Musetti is, it's disappointing for him, right? Like like again,
Yeah.
like if that's
He
gonna be
basically
like if we're gonna talk
dominated
about like
head to
that's the
head.
one service where he can be competitive, like then he's got to be really, 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 really good, right? If he's gonna be a clay court specialist now, if he wants to be in the top 20, like otherwise he's just Sebastian Baez.
But it's funny. But it's funny, Musetti, like he wins with just pure nuance, right? Like that's his game. Like throwing up high lobs in defensive positions, hitting angles, waiting for openings in the court, right? To expose,
Yeah,
you know, uh, like make guys cover bigger parts of the court, right? Like use the outer thirds, right? Like that's Musetti's game, and like look how far
he
it's.
also is a great shot maker.
That's true. That's true. Good point.
Like but I hear he's not like a consistent. He's not like maybe a ball striker at the level of those other guys.
Right. Right. And he does it. I mean, he has incredible speed, and I think he's really improved his fitness. Like I think
I
that
would
that's
agree with that.
a
Yeah,
rated
yeah.
part.
But to be fair, like Musetti came up so young, man. Like we talk about Musetti, like he's this like veteran player.
Yeah,
He's 23. Like these guys come up so young now. Musetti's 23, Draper's 23, Sinner's 23, Alcaraz is 22, Rune's 22. Half of the guys in the top 10 or below are younger than 24.
yeah.
That's
Crazy.
insane.
I wonder
Shelton's
if we're
22 and he's going to join them. It's going to be because he's going to pass Demoner next week. Next week it'll be 6 kids, 23 or younger in the top 10.
Shelton. Yeah,
That's what with Shelton joining, because Shelton's
right.
going to be top 10 on Monday. It'll be him, Musetti, Rune, um, Draper, and then the top two, all at 23 or younger in the top 10.
I wonder if we're gonna see that switch. You know how like during the big three era, like players were going deep into their mid 30s, right? Like and still performing at a high level. I wonder if we're gonna see a switch back to like, the Agassi Sampras where like players would start tapering out at like 32, 33.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the other side of that too is that like the training is so much more intense now, I think, for these kids at a young age. And like the nutrition, like that's the other thing, man. Like these guys, like look at like Justin Engel. Like that kid does not look 17.
No, he doesn't. He wears the
Like
muscle shirt like he looks like he's 22, 23.
Like these guys all like there's so much more effort putting off the court now, and the training is so much more intensive. Like, and it's true across all sports, right? Like this isn't a tennis specific
And
thing.
look at
Like,
Lamine Yamal from on Barcelona. Like that guy
yeah,
is ridiculous. I mean, he's 17 and he's dominating the world of soccer. Like it's ridiculous.
yeah.
So I tend to agree with you. I just think like since there's so much more rigorous training early on,
Will
is
these guys burn out? That's a real question. Is
right.
will there be burnout now at 28, 29? It's a real question.
So yeah,
Especially as you look at like as you start having the conversation around like if nobody comes up to challenge Sinner and Alcaraz, like are these guys gonna win like two slams a year each? Like, it's
yeah, but
like
even if Alcaraz does that for another what seven, he's what Djokovic is 24, Alcaraz is 5, so it's 19. So he'd have to do that for 9 years.
that's only 31.
It's on there. Yeah, but
I
still,
mean, that's the question though, right? Like that is the question is like, are you gonna see these guys like is this gonna be 15 years of Sinner and Alcaraz carrying this? What these guys gonna play into their mid 30s? Or are these guys gonna, burn out earlier because of the intense demands and the intense demands of the way they play.
I mean, I think Sinner feels more durable, but I mean, I don't even want to have this discussion because like we've seen it, with Nadal, right? Like Nadal, we never thought he would last till 35, 36, still winning Roland Garros titles at that age, right? Like, so I don't think it's a worthy discussion to have anymore. I used to think it was, but I don't think it is anymore.
But Nadal's all, I mean, like what you're talking about, Nadal, Djokovic, right? Those guys are freaks too, right? But I guess Sinner and Alcaraz would fall on the same level of freaks. So like,
Right,
yeah,
right. But Alcaraz, I mean, Nadal, like early in his career, I thought like there's no way he's going to play past like 29, 30. And then he was still winning Roland Garros at 35, 36. It's like,
I think the bigger question is like how long is a Draper or a Rune or a Lehecka, like how long are those guys going to be able to like,
I
because
mean, Lehecka, forget him already. He's already burning out. But
no, but
like,
that's the point is these are guys who are like, or you look at like a Medvedev, right? Starting to mentally burn out at 29, right? So I think like, I think it like there will be a few, right? Like,
but
but
I actually think with Medvedev, I think it's a thing that doesn't get discussed enough. Is I think there is some scar tissue with Medvedev. Like he won a slam, so we don't talk about it in the same realm as we do with Zverev. But losing multiple slams from being 2 sets up, that definitely plays a role. And then thinking, oh, after the big three retire, I'm gonna start racking up these slams, and then seeing these two guys, Sinner and Alcaraz, kind of take it over when you're part of the previous generation, it must be discouraging. Like you can't. I
I
mean,
don't know, man. Like, I'm not sure if that's why he's double faulting three times against Opelka in a set in Stuttgart, right? Like,
fair,
if you want to
fair,
tell me why he's not winning slams, I could accept that. Like,
but that's a
but it's
250.
what?
That's a 250. I'm not
That's
saying
my
there's
point.
an
Is
excuse
like,
for that.
like if you want to tell me like that's why he's not like the scar tissue is why he can't win a slam that he feels, and that it makes it tough in the later rounds of slams. But like, it's not why he's playing like a guy who's not even in the top 20 anymore, top 25. You know what I mean? Like
But
this drop off.
he's not playing tennis to win 250s, right? Like that's not his
Maybe it's
goal.
just like tank. Like he just doesn't like.
I don't think he cares.
Okay, I mean you might be right,
Like
but I don't know, man. Like but he's played terrible all year. Like I don't, including at the slams. So like I don't know, man.
I
I
think
have a
he's
hard
just
time
discouraged
like.
to the point where like, whatever. I have two beautiful kids at home. Like, you know, this is
Right. I mean, I think mental burnout is possibly a thing. Like he could just be burned out. I think that's possible.
yeah. Yeah, I think he's done. It seems like it. It doesn't seem like there's any reasonable path to come back because he doesn't have the weapons.
I don't know, man. Like that's why I kind of disagree. Like I don't think it's a like I don't think it's a lack of weapons issue. Like he's playing much worse. Like a lot of these guys we argue, okay, have they really regressed or not? Like I am convinced that Medvedev of 21 beats Medvedev of 25.
Yeah. Okay.
Like his own level is just like, and it seems like mentally it's just like in the toilet. Like it
Yeah. So you don't think it's a ball quality issue? It's more like a tactic issue and like discipline issue?
like I think it's I guess I'll rephrase it. I don't think it's that he can't like I don't think it's that he can't I don't think it's an issue of like the ball he's like him not having the tools in the tool bag to win matches. Like he's just not like he's not executing. Like I think if he executed like the old Medvedev, I think he could still be in the top 10. Like would he be able to beat Sinner and Alcaraz? Probably not. I would agree with that. But he would still be like a threat to make quarters and semis. Like it wouldn't be this where he's learning to losing to Lerner Teen and Cam Norrie and slams and like like double faulting 3 times against
Yeah.
Opelka. Like this is well below standard Medvedev levels, right? Like
I would
if he
agree
was
with
losing
that.
in quarters of slams, like it'd be like okay, I would agree with that. I would say okay, the style probably has a ceiling, right? And he probably doesn't have a like the way he's like I don't like I think if the question is how does he win a slam, yeah, I don't know how I see a path to that. But like there's a path for him back to the top 10.
I want to watch a replay of a average Medvedev match in like 2020 and 2021. Maybe not like the US Open final where he served out of his mind or that crazy run in 19, like an average match, right?
Yeah.
Where he'd win in, like a 4-4 against a decent level player, right? And then a match now, you know?
I mean, so we say all that, right? And I think some of that too is maybe a little bit of recency bias. Like, yeah, I think we would all agree Medvedev's not playing at his old level. But like he still this year has he beat Tommy Paul at Indian Wells. Um Actually Indian Wells had a good tournament in general. I guess that's really it. It's really just Indian Wells where he had a good tournament. Everything else is kind of, good draws. But like, yeah, it's not,
Just can't really tell if it's a tactical um like a diminish in tactics or it's like a ball quality and like, level of play. I can't really tell. Or
yeah,
maybe it's both.
like for him, right? He has to be like for Medvedev, he has to be so accurate in how he's hitting, like because he doesn't have like the weapons and like the ball quality, quote unquote, of like other top guys. Like his placement has to be so good, and
Right.
if his placement's not good, he's in major trouble.
Do you notice decrease in his movement? Like, do you think he's like lost a step in like explosiveness?
No, no.
Because he used to like go into octopus mode and like not miss, right? And put balls in like uncomfortable positions.
Well, you still see him do it in some rallies, but it's not. He's not. He's not. Like I don't think he's getting enough balls in uncomfortable positions. Like it's yeah.
Do you think he's being too aggressive too early and like making errors?
I think that's happening more than it used to.
Okay.
The serve is a mess.
Yeah, the serve is a mess. I don't think, I mean, you had a shoulder take late last year.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe the shoulder. Maybe he's got like a degenerative issue in his shoulder. I mean, maybe that is it. Maybe he's got like a degenerative issue in his shoulder, and he just doesn't want to say anything because that would that's a great way to keep your career going, right? Start, tell the world that you can't use your shoulder, like
Very
maybe there is like maybe he's physically just burned.
It's kind of fascinating though, the Medvedev decline. I think
Yeah.
it's more fascinating than the Tsitsipas decline or the Rublev decline. Um, I'd have to do some more tape study to really see what the real problem is.
Yeah. I mean, it's
It's fascinating.
I would agree.
So, before we close it for tonight, I just want to hear your thoughts on the two finals tomorrow. I know you have a 22-1 on Diallo, which is really exciting. Um, what are your thoughts on that match with Zizou?
I mean, I think it's really exciting to see both these guys playing well. I think that's my first take. Um, I think I like Diallo better on grass. Clearly, is the better serve, right? So that's a huge advantage. Um, think Diallo. I mean, Diallo's a guy who's really improving, man.
He is. He's really.
Like, I think that's why you were able to grab him in 30-1 pre-tournament. I got him after the first round, but probably something in the range of like 30 to 40 to 1, depending on where you got it pre-tournament. Like, that's why you'd be able to do that, is that he's a guy who, like, the grass court pedigree wasn't there, but it's not like he doesn't have. It's just that if you go back and look at his any kind of previous grass court stats, he just wasn't as good of a player last year.
Yeah, I didn't hit it, but I've hit him in every individual match against.
But it's also
Against-
exciting too because he's a college tennis guy, right? He played at Kentucky, I think, several years back, and so he's another guy who's a little bit of like a late bloomer in terms of development. Um, so yeah, I think like it's yeah, I just think it's exciting to see these kids, developing. I mean, he's trying to see how old he is. I want to say he's 23. So, like a guy who's developing maybe a little bit later, but yes, like clearly getting better. Like, and I feel like, this was probably the last week to get in on him, to be honest. Like the last chance to get in on him before he's gonna be, like
Right, right.
hyped and priced up as like as what he is, which is I think he's clearly a top 50 player. Like his rankings now there, but I think he's clearly there.
I
Like,
agree.
I mean, if you look at it, like he's like, I mean, I think he's somewhere like if you look at like the 30 to 50 guys, 30 to 50, like he's right in that mix now.
I agree.
Maybe on the top end of that mix. So like, yeah.
He's a good
And it just seems like he's
competitor.
gotten better across the board. It's also like he was like a year ago, he was like pretty much just like big serve, big ball hitter, like indoor guy, fast court guy. Like
He
he
impressed on clay though.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he's really like rounded out, like not round, I mean, he's not
Yeah.
completely rounded out yet, but he's gotten a lot better at his weaknesses. Like and get like tip your cap, right? I just talked about how guys have a really hard time improving and how do you improve? Like this is a guy who's done it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Um,
And
Same thing with
Zizou,
Zizou, but Zizou kind of we saw the shoot up in the. I thought a lot of the improvements maybe 6 to 8 months ago, and now he's kind of hit another plateau. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
I don't want to back him here. I'm off this match. I'll be rooting for your futures to cash, but like Zizou has been serving poorly but returning extremely well. And I was shocked at how well he returned Opelka serve. But if you look at his matches against Popyrin and blocks, I think he faced like 30 break points in those two matches.
Yeah,
So like I don't really like this matchup because I feel like Diallo can attack Berg's serve, but like he's also pretty good in rallies, unlike Opelka. So
yeah.
I think that this is priced pretty well.
Who's the favorite? I mean, Diallo's the favorite. He's like two
Yeah,
game favorite.
minus 165. He's a two-game favorite.
Yeah, that's how I would have priced it.
Yeah, that seems accurate.
Over under is probably like 24 or something.
23 and a half.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
I think it's priced well. And then how about the Fritz and Zverev match?
Yeah, man, I don't know. This is a tough one. Like, I kind of like it where it's priced. Maybe there's a slight bit of value on Fritz.
Fritz is plus 125 now. I got him at plus 120. I'm discouraged to see reverse CLV, but
Yeah, it's starting to get up to like a plus 125, especially in Stuttgart, man. Like, this has to be tie breaks, right? Like, what's the over under here? It's like 25 and a half.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not back the dog here? If you're getting
I
plus,
I I can't back Zverev. I'll say that. Like, I can't back Zverev at a minus 150.
and I think Fritz is, to me, he has proved that this is a good matchup for him. Last year by beating him at Wimbledon and the US Open and the World Tour Finals. Like Zverev doesn't
Um,
really do much to hurt Fritz. Like I think if Zverev had more of those nuances that we talked about earlier in the pod, I think that would be troublesome to Fritz. But I've gotten burned backing Zverev in this matchup multiple times, and I'm not doing it again. So I'm playing Fritz at plus 125.
it's so tough, man, because like this one's difficult to me because like if you look at like I get it, like Fritz has beaten Zverev um the last four times they've played. Um the and for the last five, the Wimbledon match that Fritz won in five, I still have no idea how Fritz won that match.
He came
Like,
back from two sets down, right?
yeah, and wasn't he coming off which one was coming off an injury? Wasn't it Fritz? One of the guys was like slightly less fit. Like, yeah, so I have no idea how Fritz won that one. The US Open match was terrible. Like, just Zverev just like mentally fell apart like he usually does in late rounds of slams, you know? We just had this discussion about that, right? Like that was just like he like
Yeah.
suddenly couldn't hit a backhand. I do not I know you care about Laver Cup, I don't. And in the World Tour Finals, like, okay, Fritz won the match technically, but I'm looking at the stats here. Zverev was better on the serve points one, return points one, and Zverev was Zverev. Well, Fritz won 85% of points off the first serve. Zverev won 50% of points off the second serve. So like Zverev beat Fritz 50-33 off the second serve. Fritz 85-80. It feels really even to me, to be honest. Especially on a fast Stuttgart surface. Like it feels like tie breaks. Yeah, I mean they're for me it's Fritz or pass, but like what is I mean like I think the lines for me would actually be like what is the first set tiebreak line and what is the over 1.5 tie breaks?
So first set tie break is plus 115. The over 1.5 tie breaks is plus 240. Under half a tie break is plus 240 as well.
That I hate.
Yeah.
I don't see how there's not at least one tiebreak here. Um I mean, we just talked about it, like every match in this event has tie breaks, you know?
Yeah. This is I usually like that bet, but this is not an event. I'm gonna dabble in that. Um Over 2.5 sets is plus 125. Fritz over 13. I was looking at that is minus 115, but I prefer just the money line.
Well, if you're gonna play the over 13,
Now this is
you get
interesting. Fritz to win every set 7-6 is plus 1,600. Zverev is plus 1,200 if you want to play that. Match to go to a final set tiebreak is plus 350.
don't like that. That's the worst. Well, yeah, that's okay. I mean, yeah, those are all. I mean, it's all priced up pretty accurately, like pretty close to where I'd put it. But
My
yeah,
favorite is the
I
Fritz
just
money
man with
line.
both these, yeah, I don't know. Like it's a match that it feels like looking at the matchup, like Zverev should win, but
I just think it's 50-50. And like Fritz has the head-to-head edge. And like we've talked about how fast Stuttgart is, right? Like, and Fritz has a big serve and forehand. Like he likes these quick courts. I think Zverev doesn't like the ball low as much as Fritz does.
I mean, yeah, that's the advantage for Fritz in this matchup, right? The bounce height, right? That is definitely the advantage.
Yeah,
The advantage Zverev has, he's just a better athlete, and like the
right,
flaws that Zverev has, Fritz isn't gonna like. It's a weird match that like both guys have flaws, but neither of these guys is actually gonna like do anything to like expose the guy's flaws.
right. And I think Zverev has more ability to expose the flaws, but he has more reluctance to,
Right, right.
right? So, okay, so if you're not going to expose his flaws, then I'll just back the other guy.
Right, I mean, like but I think that's why this is priced how it's priced up, is because like if you're looking at who's like the higher ceiling player, like if
Oh,
both
it's
guys play their
Zverev, no
best,
doubt.
this is Zverev, no doubt. But like, what makes us think that Zverev's gonna play his best? Nothing.
So what's your minimum buy point on Fritz? Like if you got plus 130, would you play it?
I mean, I might play the 125.
I'd make a GBM if you want.
Probably like I've got to think about it. Like there's a chance I'll be in on. I do think, man, like to me, it's Fritz or pass at that price. Like, yeah, Zverev's a better player. Like if Zverev got the way better backhand, he's got. I mean, not that Fritz's backhand is bad, but like Zverev's got the better backhand. Again, Fritz, that's the thing. Like we talk about how Zverev doesn't like the low bounce, but Fritz isn't going to hit a bunch of slices to like make the low bounce a problem.
Right.
Like it's a really weird match in that
Exactly.
like these guys both have flaws, but neither guy's gonna do anything to like get a like game plan to like exploit them. Like they're just gonna
I know. Well, let me know in the next like half hour because the match is at 6 a.m. So
yeah. There's a pretty good chance I'll be on Fritz, man. You're talking me into it. Like what like yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that it's moving this way. Like I was expecting it to be like plus 110 at close, but like I got it at plus 120 and now it's plus 125. So I don't know. As far as like qualifying matches go, I'm on some good stuff tomorrow. I really like I like the Yong at plus 115 against Laszlo Giri. I think that's a
Oof. Oof, that
50-50
seems like a
match.
mess.
I just think Giri sucks on grass, to be
Oh, I
honest.
don't think he sucks. I mean, I see that. I don't think it's a grass issue. I think it's like and this is such a lame take, but I mean, I don't know. Like there are a few players like this. I feel like Jerry, like I've seen him multiple times just show up and look completely unmotivated.
Good point.
And
That's a
I
problem.
wouldn't be surprised if that's the case here.
That's true.
Like getting into the main draw would be a really good thing to like have a chance to get some points and some money.
Yeah. All right, one match. I'm shocked by this price. Engel now is plus 210 against Offner.
Offner's got a good serve. He's not as bad on grass as you think. And I think he's had some okay grass for well, he made the
A
final
plus,
of Mallorca. I know a very weird event that's not really grass.
a plus 210? So that means what's the probability? Like what? You're better at this.
32%.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that I agree. Especially like that's Halle, right?
Yeah.
So we've got Angle at home again, right? And it's
Yep.
not like he's making every event right now. So yeah, I mean, he's clearly like two. He played.
Offner
He
went
played.
7-5, 7-6 against Hassan, who's not a grass court player.
Yeah,
I just think plus 210. I thought plus 195 was ridiculous, and that was a multi-unit play. I might have to double down at plus 210. Like that's a crazy price.
It does feel like a really good price. It does feel like a really good price. I'll give you that.
Nice. Like that's probably 55-45 for me in favor of Offner. So like if it's a 30, what, 33% probability chance?
That's a massive ROI then on a long-term basis. Yeah, I mean, and I guess if you wanted to look at it this way, right, you could say is this being priced up based on Offner's grass record based on his success in Mallorca last year, which again, Mallorca is a really weird event. Like that's a
Yeah.
very different grass. Um,
Yeah.
and even in that event, he beat Munar, Dartery, Paul Jubb, and Mickelson. So is that Mickelson's a good win, but the other three, I mean, Jubb is a grass court specialist, but he's a challenger player, and then you've got Dartery and Munar, who are definitely not grass guys. That was the run at Mallorca last year. So yeah, I mean, I that makes a lot of sense to me.
Hmm. I'm also on Rinderknecht tomorrow in Queens at minus 120 against Mute. Like, I just think that the surface matters so much in that matchup. Like, if that match was played on clay, I mean, obviously you have to make Mute a massive favorite, but on grass, there's a massive serving edge. I don't
There's
know.
definitely no value on Mutate even money. I'll agree with you on that.
Like, I would think Rinderknecht should be like a minus like 160, minus 165
Yeah,
favorite.
that's kind of what I was thinking too. That
You
that's
know?
that's I would probably I would probably be on that as well. Like that makes a lot
So
of
like
sense.
40 cents off, like I think that's to me
Yeah.
it's a play. I like Henry Searle at plus 190 against Mackie McDonald. Um Searle has
Do
been
you
pretty
like Searle
good.
or do you not like McDonald?
I'm not that high on McDonald on grass. I know he has a grass court kind of game with his like flat strokes and stuff, but um I mean, Searle has been good. He won 6-6 against Boo in first round of qualifying. He beat Coleman Wong bad 3-2. I mean, that's not nothing to like Coleman Wong sucks, but he also took the first set off Lahal in Birmingham and lost 5-7, 7-5, 6-3. So I don't know. I just think plus 195 it's a price play for me. It's not like, something I'm super excited about, but like, I don't think Mackie McDonald should be a 3-game favorite on grass.
Okay. Okay. It's another one where I probably wouldn't be on Mackie. I think I agree with you as far as that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Alex Bolt O'Connell match. Um, I heard there was some like line movement and like Bolt is a favorite against O'Connell, but O'Connell, I feel like he's just not a good grass court player.
But he
Like
should be. Like he's got a game that should play really well on grass.
he has big swing paths though. That's the problem.
I guess.
Like I feel like from a tennis perspective, there's no way that O'Connell should be a dog against Alex Bolt, but I feel like the surface matters here.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I still feel like O'Connell should be better on grass than he is. I
Hmm.
don't know. I hear you on the this. I mean, the swing path on the backhand isn't that bad. Like I don't know, but he did just get smoked. I think the problem is he's got smoked by Manarino 1-3.
Yeah, that's bad.
But now he beat Duckworth in the first round, right? And he bageled Duckworth in the second set. So that
Exactly.
should
That's why
indicate that
I'm puzzled. Yeah.
yeah.
Like that's why like Lahal, like I was at, people with Lahal, like, oh, he's a grass court specialist. He took Alcaraz to 7-6, 7-5 at Wimbledon. Like I was actually more impressed by the 4-4 qualifying win against Duckworth than I was with the Alcaraz match.
I think I think the to beat Duckworth in three consecutive sets on grass is a good win.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like that kind of goes understated.
I
Like
would agree with that.
people don't talk about that, and they were like, "Oh, he took Alcaraz to, tight. He took him to a tiebreak. Like that's amazing." But that's the first match of an event with some nerves and stuff. Like I don't think you could weigh that match too much.
I do think the whole hype is getting a little crazy, though. I
It
will
is.
say,
It is.
like, I don't like this guy's a challengeable player, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he okay, he has weapons, fine. Like a lot of guys in the challenge tour have weapons.
Yeah.
Not all. Like there's plenty
No.
of South American grinders who are just pure grinders on the challenger tour, but like there's guys in the challenger tour who have weapons. The problem with the Hall is just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like he like I was very like he was not good against Zizou Lahal.
It's not. No. It's still. I don't think that was a very poor match from both guys. Honestly.
It was a very poor match from both guys. Yeah,
Yeah. Was 6-6.
6-6 was the score of it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I watched a decent amount of that, and I was very
It
uh
sucked.
I had bet Zizou, so I was happy to take the win, but it was very much a very very depressing performance from both.
Yeah. No futures.
Honestly, kind of a depressing week in general. Like I thought there were, like I said, like Diallo in my mind is the star of this week, who's been like
Hey,
really good. I don't
you
know if
have a
anybody else
22
has
to
really
1
been.
futures. I don't think you should be saying it's depressing.
What?
You have a 22 to 1
That's
futures
that's
coming up.
fair.
I don't
That's
think you can say
fair.
it's depressing.
But like just in terms of the tennis,
Yeah, the tennis hasn't been great. I'll be honest.
it feels, it's felt like the two like if like I think Diallo's been a star this week. Good to see. I think Fritz, good to see Fritz making a final. Like, I think
Yeah.
he's. And again, I'm not that surprised. Like, I think it's I think for we always try to read into a player's current form, but I mean, when has Fritz ever really been a good clay court player outside of like what one like a Munich run? I think he won Munich or made finals of Munich 2024, right? But yeah, like Fritz on
Shelton
clay,
made
it's
the final
not
there too.
what.
Shelton made the final there too.
Yeah, well, it's altitude, right?
Yeah. But you know what? I give credit to Fritz. He doesn't treat clay the way Casper Ruud treats grass.
Yeah. Look,
And he goes out
yeah, we 100%, 100% agreed.
he
No,
goes out to all those clay court events, gives 120%, tries his absolute hardest, even when he's a little bit injured.
yeah,
And I give him credit for that.
I
And
do too.
like
I do
sometimes he
too.
comes up as the second best player, but so does most of the guys.
Yeah,
Whereas Casper Ruud is not playing a warm-up tournament, and he's going to show up at Wimbledon and lose first round like he usually does. And I think he deserves more bashing for that. Like you're a professional tennis player, you play the calendar. You know?
yeah,
That's the way it is. And it bothers me like oh Casper Ruud is such a nice guy, so he gets all these passes, right? And I don't think he deserves it,
yeah.
you know?
I agree.
But all right, so good recap pod. It was fun. I guess no pod tomorrow, but we'll post our plays for the 500.
Yep,
It's
yep, yeah. Exciting week coming up with Halle and Queens Club.
one of my favorite weeks. I love this week.
This is a fun week.
It's a fun week. Yeah. I just wish like the matches were more staggered. Like if we had a 500 like in the European time zone and then
I
like
know,
American time zone, like it'd be
but
gold.
nobody would play it if they didn't do it in Europe this time of year. Nobody would play it, right?
Right. But I'm looking forward to like the week where we have like two European tournaments and then we have like Washington D.C.
I don't think we hit. Do we have that this year?
Um, I think we have after Wimbledon. There's a
Oh,
week.
we do. We do. They moved the calendar around. Washington is the same week as Umag and Kitzbühel.
Love that.
And Los Cabo is wow. That's crazy. So I didn't realize this. So I guess it makes sense, but Cabo, Gstaad, and Bastad are all the week after Wimbledon.
That's awesome. So we have what European tennis, and then we got like late night tennis.
Yeah. Yeah, in Mexico and Cabo.
Fucking love
And
that.
then
It's awesome.
the week after that is Kitzbühel, Umag, Washington. but it's so weird. It's a very
Oh, and
weird.
then you have the 2 week Masters with Toronto and Cincinnati. Ugh, that sucks.
No, but this is even more strange. So I'm looking at the calendar. They're saying that Toronto's going to want July 27th to August 7th.
Yeah, the final is not on Sunday. It's
So it's
like,
going to be on a Thursday, and then they're going to go right to Cincinnati.
yeah,
Very bizarre.
yeah, they have the final in
Stupid.
the middle of the week. Because
Very stupid.
I was thinking of going to Toronto for like a weekend, and like that weekend were the 2 days of the round of 16.
Very stupid. Very
Oh,
stupid. Like, if they're going to do 2 week masters, just do 2 week masters.
yeah, but it's hard because like they weren't 2 week Masters, and you have to fit it in with the US Open. Like you don't like you make it 2 week Masters, but you're not adding weeks to the calendar. You're not there's still 52 weeks in the year. So
The
you
problem, my point is like they gave like if they're gonna do this, like if they're gonna do this, then just like squeeze out some of the two feel like I don't I yeah I you know what I just hate the tweet masters. That's it. That's
two
all
week
this is.
Masters suck. I agree with you. It's just it's gonna be weird. I mean, also then you have the China tournaments. They also start in the middle of the week, right? It's not,
Yeah,
you know. Remember Shanghai was also like that, where we had like Beijing like ended on Tuesday.
yeah, which I hate.
This is weird. It's weird. It's where the calendar gets strange. But
And I just don't think it's good for the sport. Like to have like having the finals on the weekend, I think is great. Like having finals when people can actually watch them. Like, how is it good for the sport to have finals when like nobody can see them?
I mean, for junkies like us, like I don't mind having round of 16 matches on like the weekend, right? Like where we have more matches to watch.
True. True.
But for growing the sport, I totally agree with you. You
Like
know?
it's just so but this is the problem. I mean, this is fundamentally the issue. It's like an individual contract. Each term is basically an individual contract. This is what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, tennis won't
Anyways,
be that big, but all right.
good yeah,
Good pod.
thanks everyone. Thanks just
Let me know about Fritz if you want to make a GBM.
yep, we'll do.
Let me know about Rinderneck.
All right.
Let me know about Angle.
All right, sounds good. We'll do.
Okay. All right. All right. Have a good night,
Have a
everyone.
good night, supporters.